What's up, everybody? This is Anthony Campo of the Be Battle Ready podcast, Daily Battle Edition. And today I want to talk to you about meeting a master go-giver. All right, so I'm coming at you a little bit later in the day. And I just got back from coffee with a local go-giver. So if you don't know, a master go-giver. So there's a book that I read many years ago called The Go-Giver. And it just talks about the premise of being a giver in your life. It talks about the go-getter that's pushing to go crush the number, and he meets a mentor that reframes his idea of success and how to go create success into going out seeking to help people first. Now, my experience with that is, I stumbled upon this concept like intuitively, and I didn't really, when I first was doing it, I said, well, I'm just going to forget about really the actual result. And I actually put up a, focus on who you can become, not the actual what you're going to get. But I put a post up similar to that talks about this concept. But in this, that, I thought that, hey, maybe this is work. But I never had anybody telling me until I read the book. But sometimes when you read books, you're like, is this just somebody's theory or they actually know what they're talking about? So I met with George today, and George is a master networker, and not in a cheesy way, a good, genuine guy that's in it to help and connect other people. And I can't remember the book that talks about being a connector. I don't know if it's a Go-Giver or another book, but there's another book that talks about this being a connector. And, I want to talk about this because of how refreshing it is. And to meet somebody that's in it for them, they're selfishly and selflessly in it for yourself. And that's not even a bad way, because this person knows that by giving and connecting and caring and trying to help other people, it's going to be reciprocated. So many times, I actually had a messenger conversation with somebody that, I was offering help to, and they said they wanted help. And, I was just going back and forth with them, just trying to figure out what's up with them and everything else. But as the conversation proceeded, it really, they were just in it for themselves. So it's interesting about the mindset, right? When you break things down, right? The skill of going out and connecting people and knowing what to do and the tactics to do it, and the mindset and what the mindset comes from. The person who does not want to give, does not want to connect, that wants to hoard it for themselves, it's a scarcity mindset. And more than anything in this is your ability to transcend your scarcity to actually give. And I wanted you to look inside your day-to-day routine about when you're asked to give and you don't. Right? So it's as simple as giving a tip. Right? And this is a little off, but it's the same thing. It comes from the same place. So to give a tip, so you go to get coffee, right? And like today, the receipt came up and I had to sign for it, right? And you're like, this guy just got me coffee and that's it. Why does he deserve a tip, right? That might be your scarcity mindset, or I can't do this. I can't afford to do it. So do you tip him or do you not tip him? My thing is your mindset. To break down your mindset, you've got to break it down each and every time you get an opportunity. Give a tip. Leave the change. Your scarcity says keep the change, store it in a piggy bank. that which you giveth you will receive. So let's back to George. George, he pulled out his iPad and he has notes and he has, all this stuff about who he could, on all these people that he knows. And he's selling a $49, $59 a month product subscription. I mean, and he's not having a massive scale. It's just him. He has a team, all that stuff. But so I bring this up because, my experience in the past, I was part of a networking group when I first started getting in, starting my gym. One of the first things I did once I found out about these things, a networking group called Le Tip. Now, Le Tip is good if you're just getting started to understand what it was, how to network and where to go and all that. It's a good place to get started. And it's a good place to learn this principle of giving before you receive. Because business ultimately boils down to selling something. And sales is a lot like dating. Those of you inside my business academy and inside my group understand that I've put this up, that it's a dating. It's just dating. There's stages as the relationships develops that you understand when to ask and when not to ask. There's unwritten rules. So in Le Tip, you learn this. Like, there's other groups out there and everything else, but in Le Tip, you have these forms that are put on your table. And it's called a tip, right? It's either for you to give to somebody or refer that person to somebody, or for you to use that person. Now, these groups, and this group is just like anything in your network. It's only as good as how much you invest into it. And investing, this can tangent off into other areas, but let's talk about networking. Networking, being in it to see somebody else succeed, there was a reciprocal nature to that. So, Le Tip, you every week you have an opportunity to pass what they call tips. So, and you do this, and I'm going to, I did one of the years, I had like 6 to 8 out of the 12 months as the top tipper of the thing. And it wasn't by chance that, I had referrals. I didn't always see, the problem is that people say, well, I wasn't getting the referrals. I wasn't getting it from that group. Well, maybe not. But as I've always said, is like putting energy in the system. Karma, whatever you want to call it. So I want to know today, where can you go out and give selflessly, and at the same time, it's selfishly. And not in a bad way. And where are you not where are you asking and you're not giving? Where you can give help up? I want to challenge you to go ahead and do that. If it's just tipping somebody, leaving them the change, or connecting to people that need each other. All right, so I'll see you back here next time on the Daily Battle.